The castle bells tolled past midnight, not with their usual soft lilt, but with a harsh clang that cut through the silence like a blade. Princess Elara sat alone at the highest tower window, her fingers clutching the cold stone sill. Her golden hair was unpinned and wild, her gown rumpled from a restless evening. Tonight was supposed to have been her betrothal feast. Instead, the hall below lay in ruins of broken cups, overturned tables, and whispers of betrayal. Her intended groom, Prince Rowan, had been discovered plotting against her father, intending to seize the crown once their marriage bound the kingdoms. The betrayal stung her heart, but what unsettled her more was not Rowan's treachery. It was the hollow realization that she had never loved him, nor had he loved her. He had only ever smiled at her crown. And yet, beyond the shattered feast, there had been one face she could not forget. Sir Kaelen. The knight who had pulled her aside just before Rowan's treachery was exposed, shielding her with his own body as chaos erupted. His loyalty had been constant since childhood, his eyes following her not as a princess to protect, but as something far more precious. Elara pressed her hand to her chest. For the first time, she dared to wonder if loyalty could mean love. Rising conflict, the silent devotion. Sir Kaelen stood guard at the entrance of her chamber that night, his armor dented from the scuffle in the hall. He kept his hand firmly on his sword hilt, though no enemy lingered. When Elara finally opened the door, she found him upright, as if carved from stone. "You should rest," she whispered. He bowed his head. "Your safety does not sleep, my lady." His words, though steady, carried something unspoken. Elara wanted to ask why he had risked his life for her in such a way, why his gaze softened when it fell upon her, why she had always felt safer in his shadow than in any prince's arms. But her lips refused to form the questions. For Kaelen's part, silence was his shield. He had sworn an oath to her father to serve the royal family, and to him, love was a dangerous treason. Knights could bleed, knights could die, but knights could not desire the princess they served. And yet, every time he looked at her, his oath trembled. The castle soon grew restless with rumors. Some whispered that Elara herself had discovered Rowan's plot and revealed it. Others claimed Kaelen had always distrusted Rowan and had engineered the discovery. Either way, Rowan was locked in the dungeons awaiting judgment. But Rowan was not finished. And his vengeance would test not just the kingdom, but the bond between princess and knight. Twist 1, a poisoned letter. Days later, Elara received a sealed letter, slipped beneath her chamber door. It bore no royal crest, but she recognized Rowan's handwriting immediately. Against her better judgment, she read it. "Elara, you are a prisoner in your own castle, caged by those who claim to protect you. Your knight is not faithful, he is ambitious. He wants not your safety, but your throne. Do not be fooled by his silence. I was only the first to be accused. He will be the last, and you will fall with him." Her hands trembled. She wanted to burn the letter, to dismiss it as venom, but the seed of doubt rooted in her heart. Rowan's lies had once fooled her father. Could they now poison her mind against Kaelen? That night, she avoided Kaelen's gaze. She spoke to him curtly, though her heart ached at the hurt that flickered across his face. When she finally slept, her dreams tormented her with visions of Kaelen wearing the crown, her father's lifeless body at his feet. The breaking point, confessions in the garden. Unable to bear the gnawing doubt, Elara fled into the castle gardens one evening. The moonlight painted her pale as marble, her breath sharp with fear and longing. Kaelen followed, as he always did, silent but ever near. "My lady," he said gently, breaking the quiet. "You are troubled." She turned on him, tears in her eyes. "Tell me the truth, Kaelen. Do you serve me out of duty, or something else?" His jaw clenched, his hands tightening at his sides. This was the moment he had dreaded, the moment his oath collided with his heart. "I serve you because my life belongs to you," he said, voice low and raw. "Not your crown. Not your throne. You." Her breath caught. The world stilled. And then, before he could step back, she reached for him. Her hand touched his cheek, her eyes shimmering with something unspoken. But the moment shattered with the sound of steel. From the shadows, a hooded figure leapt forward, blade glinting in the moonlight. Kaelen pulled Elara behind him, drawing his sword just in time to parry the strike. The assassin moved with practiced precision, his dagger coated with a sickly green sheen. Poison. After a furious clash, Kaelen disarmed the attacker and tore away his hood. Elara gasped. It was one of Rowan's personal guards, thought to have fled the night of the betrayal. But before they could drag answers from him, the assassin bit down on something hidden in his mouth. Foam spilled from his lips as he crumpled, dead within moments. Twist 2, a greater betrayal. The attack was alarming enough, but what came after struck deeper. The council, already uneasy, now claimed that Rowan was not the true mastermind. Someone within the castle had orchestrated the attempt. Whispers grew. Some pointed to Elara herself, suggesting she had staged the attack to sway her father into harsher punishment for Rowan. Others, more dangerously, pointed to Kaelen. Too convenient, one counselor sneered. The assassin falls dead, leaving no proof but the knight's word. Who benefits from such chaos but he who already stands closest to the princess? Kaelen bore the accusations in silence, but Elara saw the weight crushing him. She wanted to defend him, to scream the truth, yet fear chained her tongue. If she revealed his confession of love, it would confirm every suspicion. For the first time, Kaelen was stripped of his post as her guard. Another knight took his place, while Kaelen was ordered to remain in the barracks until the council's inquiry was complete. When Elara saw him march away, her heart cracked. The trial and the escape. The council convened a secret trial, and Elara's father, weary from the turmoil, allowed it. Rowan seized the chance, demanding to speak. From the dungeon, he claimed innocence once more, insisting Kaelen had framed him to gain the princess's trust and eventually her hand. The trial was a mockery, but the whispers grew louder. Elara watched helplessly as the faithful knight, her faithful knight, stood accused of treason. On the eve of the verdict, Elara crept into the barracks. She found Kaelen sitting on his bunk, sharpening his blade though it would soon be stripped from him. "I cannot let them do this," she whispered. He looked up at her, his face worn but calm. "My lady, you must. If you defy them, you risk your crown." "I do not care about the crown," she said fiercely. "I care about you." For the first time, the mask broke. Kaelen's eyes burned with a longing he could no longer hide. He pulled her into his arms, their lips meeting in a desperate, forbidden kiss. But their moment of stolen love ended as abruptly as it began. A horn sounded from the dungeon. Rowan had escaped. Final twist, the last duel. Chaos erupted as guards scrambled through the halls. Elara and Kaelen rushed toward the throne room, where Rowan, somehow freed, now stood with a sword pressed to her father's throat. "Step aside," Rowan snarled, "and I will spare him. Deny me, and I will take both crown and blood tonight." Kaelen raised his blade. "You'll take nothing." The duel that followed was brutal. Rowan fought like a man possessed, his strikes fueled by rage and desperation. Kaelen fought with the calm fury of a man who had everything to lose. Elara could only watch as steel clashed, sparks flew, and blood spattered across the throne room floor. At last, Kaelen drove his sword through Rowan's chest. The prince's eyes widened in shock before dimming forever. But victory came at a cost. Rowan's blade had found its mark too. Kaelen staggered, blood blooming from his side. He collapsed to his knees, Elara rushing to catch him. "No," she sobbed, pressing her hands against the wound. "You cannot leave me now." His hand found hers, weak but steady. "I swore my life was yours," he whispered. "And so it is." Conclusion, an open ending. Kaelen was carried to the healers, his fate uncertain. The kingdom hailed him as a hero, but Elara cared only for the faint rise and fall of his chest. She sat by his bedside for days, refusing to move. At last, his eyes fluttered open. Relief crashed over her like a wave. "Kaelen," she whispered, tears streaking her face. He smiled faintly. "Still your faithful knight." But the world outside their chamber was not forgiving. The council would never permit their union. A princess was meant for crowns and alliances, not for knights who bled in silence. And yet, as Elara took his hand, she felt a quiet fire rise within her. Perhaps one day, when she wore the crown, she could break the chains of duty. Perhaps love and loyalty could be the same. For now, the story of the princess and her faithful knight was unfinished, lingering between hope and sacrifice. And that, she thought, was enough.